Hey Al, glad to see you.
Hello. Yeah, Carl. It's been a while.
It's been a while. So how are things at your end?
Hmm.
Congrats on
It's good. It's
starting.
been good. They've successfully completed BBL packages. I mean, it's the third attempt,
Hey, that's
and we
awesome.
have shipped off all our packs yesterday, and we'll be completing our venue packs by tomorrow too. So it's been a great start for Covers Off.
That's exciting, and congrats on starting covers off.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
think what
It's a
can you
teamwork.
tell
Yeah.
your Twitter followers more about covers off now it came to existence?
Cause of it's a subscription based fantasy cricket content and data website in a way that it's not something that as a fantasy player I'm not getting a lot of information that I should. So I thought that if I'm not getting something, there is only one way out. I should do it myself. So that's how the idea of Covers Off came into play. And then as a team, we worked together and set up the launch of this website, and which we are expecting by the late this month, around 25th. The website should go live. But the funny thing is, we already have 150 subscribers, and the subscriptions are selling like hotcakes. So you could join the preseason channel and subscribe to Covers Off, and you'll be getting all our works till our website is launched.
So I just have to download the preseason app, preseason,
Yeah.
season
Yeah.
as in CASON, preseason app.
Yeah.
It's available on both
PPRE.
the Google.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's available on both Google Play and iOS now.
Mm-hmm. So and then
And
how does it work? So once I download it, then covers off content is available for me to subscribe to.
yeah, it's basically an app that if you download it and log in, you'll find a lot of channels. On that, Covers Off is also one of the channels. And if you subscribe to it, it'll ask you to pay 199 rupees for the month. And once you pay it, and you go to one of the threads, there's a thread called chat box. And if you type your email ID there, we'll pick your email IDs, and we'll be sending all our packs that we have sent so far. This offer holds true till it has 3 more days till 10th. If you subscribe to us, we'll be sending you all the pre-tournament packs, and you'll also be getting daily fantasy tips and sports betting calls as well. That's something no website is doing in the entire world of cricket content right now. We are stepping into it. And but if you join after 10th December, you'll only be getting daily fantasy packs and sports betting calls. To get the preseason packs, you should join before December 10th.
Okay, so there is a special offer if I join before the 10th of December that I'll get all the preseason packs for BBL.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Yeah, and then you said that so currently covers off. I can subscribe to covers off on
Mm,
preseason,
mm.
and but you will also be launching your own website,
Yeah,
coversoff.ai,
yeah,
towards the end of the month. You said.
yeah.
So, what more is it going to be available when you launch your own website?
There's plenty that's available, and it's actually an insane offer. I mean, because the first 1,000 subscribers that take yearly subscription from Covers Off, they'll automatically be converted into lifetime subscribers. They do not have to pay anything. So if you subscribe for the first year, that's it. You're with Covers Off forever.
Wow.
It's
How
a
much is
yearly
that
sub.
yearly
Yeah,
subscription?
it's going to be 9.99 if you just want the content on the website to connect with me or with all of the creators at Covers Off. You'll have to pay 1,499 per year. But if you just want the content, and if you do not want to talk to us, or you do not want advice and tips or last minute changes and everything, just 9.99 will do.
Yeah. And you're saying it's already available for 199 on the preseason app. If I
Yeah,
don't
we
have
have.
to wait till
Mm,
end of December, given that
mm.
BBL is just starting a week away.
Mm. Yeah, we have monthly subscriptions already selling. We have 150 of them sold so far in just 20 days. And we're doing this without any promotions, without a website even. So just doing it through mails, and our packs are being exceptionally well received so far.
Yeah. And let's go a little bit deeper about what these packs are actually
Mm,
to show some of our viewers who might consider subscribing
mm,
to covers off pack on preseason. So let me
mm.
see if I can bring up my screen. Just give
Yeah.
me a so there is my screen. If you can see that. Let me bring that up on the stream.
Sure.
Yeah,
Mm.
is my screen visible?
Yeah, it is now. Yeah.
Okay. So last year, the finals were played between Sydney Sixers and Perth
Mm.
Scorchers.
Mm.
So let's look at. So you said that the packs have gone out for all the teams.
Mm.
So I thought, and this is what the user gets an access to a Google Drive,
Yeah.
which has got all the packs.
Yeah.
For example, you see Brisbane Heat, Hobart
Mm.
Hurricanes, Melbourne
Mm.
Renegades,
Mm.
Melbourne Stars,
Yeah.
Perth Scorchers,
Mm.
and the two that are hidden there are Sydney Sixers and Sydney Thunder.
Mm.
I missed out Adelaide Strikers, right? So these
Mm.
are all the teams.
Mm.
So if you are a subscriber and if you have access
Mm.
to this, and tomorrow when you log into the Google Drive, you'll also get to see
Mm.
the venue packs. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. The venue packs are going out by tomorrow, and
Got it.
it's awesome already. I've seen it, and it's tremendous.
Yeah, I just took a look at the, I subscribed to the covers of
Mm.
on the preseason app.
Mm. Mm.
I know I do have access to these packs. That's how I'm able to
Mm.
show,
Mm.
our show today.
Mm.
And I mean, as a cricket fan who loves data,
Mm.
irrespective of whether I play fantasy or not,
Mm.
it's like a child walking into, as they say, into a toy store.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating.
We've
So,
taken inspiration from Amazon Prime actually. Like pack it with so much value and quality at such a low price that even you do not want to be without subscribing, or once you have subscribed, you'd never want to unsubscribe because it's a lot of value and quality at such a low price.
exactly. You pay 9.99 a year to
Mm.
be a committed smart cricket fan. I mean,
Mm.
that's nothing compared to there's so much of clutter that is out there. And if I
Mm.
can only read this as a cricket fan and
Mm.
use these inputs and insights to help me follow the sport,
Mm.
fantasy betting, making money are
Mm.
all
Mm. Mm.
obviously are amazing things and benefits of subscribing it.
Mm.
But even as a common cricket fan, instead of me having to go to 20 other websites or
Mm.
subscribe to 20 different
Mm.
feeds
Mm.
or follow 50 people on Twitter,
Mm.
and this is one Bible of data. That's the reason people buy Wisdom. But
Yeah.
Wisdom, it's a good almanac to have once the year has passed by. So
Mm.
this is
Mm.
a fantastic information similar to Wisdom, but it's on the other
Mm.
side of the spectrum, right?
Mm.
So you're doing this a pre-season and a pre-match, so
Mm.
that between this and the actual match itself, and
Mm.
the Wisdom pretty much covers the spectrum end to end
Mm.
for an engaged cricket fan, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm guessing there will be millions of them like me,
Mm.
uh,
Mm.
given how popular the sport is.
Mm.
But let's look at the Perth Scorchers team. They've had to
Yeah, screen has frozen count. Yeah, yeah, I can hear it. Mm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. So I don't know where you lost me. So I was
Mm-mm.
saying, looking a bit deeper into the Perth Scorchers pack.
Mm-mm.
Obviously, I read the news that they lost both Mitchell Marsh and Phil Salt due to injuries.
Yeah.
How is that going to impact the team's performance this year?
Huge blow. I mean, you look at the top three names. You cannot replace Mitchell Marsh in Australia, and especially if his home deck is Optus. He's one of the very few players in the entire world cricket who can handle the pace and bounce that's on offer at Optus. So that's going to be a huge loss for Perth Scorchers, and even Phil Salt. Phil Salt is someone who can also keep wickets and who is an attacking batsman who is at home against spin bowling as well. It's not easy to get players like that in domestic cricket leagues. So I think you could see the difference when you look at the top three. You have already you have Nick Hobson and Cameron Bancroft. One is a young player, and the other is more of a Test and ODI player. So Bancroft usually struggles to get the strike rate up. So that's one of the biggest problem. Imagine you're replacing someone who strikes at 150 to someone who strikes at 110 or 1.5. That's a big blow again. And Phil Salt again is an established player. To replace him with Nick Hobson, young but talented player, but still young and hasn't had any great exposure so far. So it's like it is so big that it has pushed them down from being one of the leading contenders for the title to being an average Joe.
I would be surprised that they end up with a wooden spoon. This is a BBL because of
Mm,
injury challenges, and
mm,
not just that, availability challenges. Even though they have
mm,
signed Faf du Plessis,
mm,
so he's going to be gone. Starting 10th of Jan, the South
mm,
Africa T20 is starting.
mm,
He's captaining one of the teams.
mm. Yeah, a lot depends on how they announce how they approach the replacements. For example, they could still sign to overseas players, although the availability will still be an issue because New Zealand has its own T20 competition starting. The country that's closest to them and from where they could easily get replacements, that's locked out. And there is South African T20. There is this International League T20. So it's not going to be easy securing the replacements. And even if they secure, they're not going to be anywhere as good as Salt or March. So that's one thing. And the other thing is that Cameron Green is going to be unavailable for the first half of the season, Faf Duplessis for the second. And there is also the injury concerns around Jai Richardson as well. And if he is fit, he could be called up to the test squad against South Africa. So these are the problems that they are facing at the moment.
Yeah, let's, I would like to take our viewers through all the sheets here. There are at least
Mm,
more than half a dozen. But let's
mm,
do that for Sydney Sixers,
mm,
which is expected to be a successful team again this season.
mm, mm,
And then let's take a couple of, key players and,
mm,
look a bit deeper to
mm,
show our viewers, how detailed these packs are
mm,
when you subscribe to the, covers of content on the preseason app.
mm,
So let's talk about Sydney Sixers, and having a player of Josh Philippe. We spoke about this during the
mm,
World Cup.
mm,
For somebody to be a wicketkeeper batsman to add so much
mm,
of value,
mm,
opening the bat.
mm.
Talk about his betting and fantasy potential for the season.
This is one of the sports betting calls that we have given out already. We have predicted that Josh Philippe will end up as the Sydney Sixers leading run scorer this season. This is based on a lot of factors. One is only and biggest competitor is James Wins, and he'll be leaving after the first half of the season. So that takes 5 to 6 games out of the total number of games for wins. So that's something that's clear. Moises Henriquez is someone who bats at number 4. So when you're batting at number 4, you're in for more for strike rate than for the volume of runs. And his form is also not great. And then you'll be looking at Silk and Christian. These are not players that are going to be at the top of run scoring charts. So the only real competition for Josh Philippe for this particular bet is Curtis Patterson. Curtis Patterson might have had a breakthrough year T20 last year, but he's still someone who is more at ease playing the longer formats, and it's not always easy to repeat a successful season the very next year. People start to figure out where your weaknesses are. They start to go deeper into research, and he's also playing a position lower than where he should be. He's someone who should open, but that's something that's not going to happen at Sydney Sixers. So, based on all of these reasons, we have predicted that Philippe is going to be the leading run scorer for Sydney Sixers this year. And the markets are out at Bet65 and Betway and Betfair, etc.
Yeah, and that's a betting call that came out, or right first thing,
Mm,
when you started publishing the content on preseason. So look at
mm,
the numbers to back it up, right? So these are the key numbers we are looking at during the World Cup for every player as well. See the balls
mm,
faced per innings. Josh
mm,
Philippe faces the highest number of balls per innings.
mm,
Look at
mm,
the strike rate. So he
mm,
converts those balls to enough number of runs. So
yeah,
and the other thing to look at,
I think your screen has frozen.
50 and the
Yeah.
140s in the last couple
Mm,
of years.
mm,
And even though his average has dropped a bit,
mm,
the number of runs he has scored,
mm,
has been consistent, right? So
mm, mm,
scored 487 runs, but he's able to score the same 500 runs,
mm,
playing less a number of balls because his strike rate has
mm,
gone up.
mm,
So you get information at this level of detail for every player.
mm,
Uh, right. So we went on this, we went through the sheet for Perth as well.
mm,
So they have James Vince
mm,
leaving for the South Africa, I mean the Emirates T20, and also
mm,
Chris Jordan. So that's going
mm,
to have an impact
mm.
during the second half of the Sydney Sixers campaign.
Yeah. It is going to be because if you look at it, Felipe is the category bet winner for 2019 and 2021. In 2020, he lost out to Vince. So Vince is our biggest threat, and he's also leaving the middle of the tournament. So that's what we have based this on.
So some of these sheets are new to me.
Mm, mm,
For an
mm,
average,
mm.
cricket fan, explain this bowler over distribution sheet to me for a
Uh,
better understanding,
yeah,
please.
we do this to understand who is bowling where. So, for example, fantasy value is extremely high for a bowler who regularly bowls 2 overs between 17 and 20, because that's the death period. Batters are only trying to accelerate, and they are not trying to care about your wickets. So when I know who is going to play and who is going to bowl a lot of overs between 17 and 20, if the management is the team management hasn't changed, if the captain and coach are the same, it's going to be we are going to see a lot of repeat moves this year as well. If they used Abbott at the death last year, it's going to be Abbott again, because using this for Sydney Sixers, we found out that as long as Jordan is there, the fantasy potential of all the other bowlers will be affected, because he's the only one who is bowling 2 overs at the death, 17 and 20. So likewise, if you could take the first 6 overs and find out who is bowling up front on decks that support new ball bowling, for example at Optus. So if you could find out who is a regular new ball bowler and use it in your fantasy teams, it could be a game changer for you. It is this section that we use to predict that India won't be playing Chahal and Harshal Patel in the World Cup. No one else predicted in the entire cricketing world. You could name any website, none of them predicted. They were all looking at Ashwin as more of a challenge to Akshar Patel, but it is using their how India have used their bowlers, how India have managed their bowling unit, that we predicted that it will be Chahal who will be going out for Ashwin, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, based on strong cricketing logic and a lot of recent data. So the batting order movement is
Hmm.
another sheet which enthralled me, but I
Hmm.
would love to have some guidance like the previous sheet.
Yeah. For example, batting. This is one of my favorite sheets. What I use this for is to understand how a team has used batters. For example, in fantasy cricket, we need batters who bat in the top three, not even top four, in the top three. So, for batter, for example, it also helps us understand how a team is viewing a batter, whether he started as one of their favorite players, and as the season progressed, he might have gone lower in the pecking order because of lack of results. For example, here the red mark denotes demotion. If you could see, Daniel Hughes is someone who has been struggling for the last few years. He's someone who accumulated 400 to 450 runs in his first couple of years, but after that, his average has gone down, his strike rate has gone down. And if you look at this batting order, you can also see he started at as number three, and in the next match, he has gone back to number five, and it's four, and it's three, and he's seen nowhere after a point. So this is what we have used to predict that Hughes. One of the reasons we have used to predict Hughes won't be part of the playing 11 this year, because his numbers have gone down and the team management is not seeing him as one of their best batters.
Makes a lot of sense after you explain it. So let's go to the fantasy ranking order sheet
Mm-hmm.
and go through the creators notes for us quickly, just for my understanding and also for the understanding of viewers who are considering to subscribe. So it's very important for them to get a sneak preview of what does their money buy them. It's a lot of data for 199 rupees a month. If you are an average fan like me, or if you are a fantasy cricket player, or a person who's into informed cricket betting, you consider this as a game of skill. This is a treasure trove of data available for a cost of peanuts, for less than a cost of coffee at a Starbucks.
Yeah.
So Al is taking us through the magic behind creating these sheets, the hours of hard work that goes into crunching the information, and he's graciously giving us a sneak preview of all the hard work he's put in for the upcoming Big Bash League. I just wanted to remind the audience who just tuning in late. Go ahead, Al. So I would love to hear your walk us through the fantasy ranking order sheet, please.
Yeah, this is one of the most important pages of what we have done. For example, when you convert into a website, this is one of the pages that I'm expecting to receive a lot of hits. So this is basically based on their potential and their availability. We have ranked the order of importance. For example, we had Josh Philippe at number one, and it's after that that Bet 65 gave out its markets. It has predicted that Josh Philippe is likely to end up as the leading run scorer for the season. That's why his odds are lower compared to others. We had this out a week back, predicting that Josh Philippe is the most valuable Sydney Sixers players ahead of the season. This is something that punters could use to their advantage, and could also season fantasy players. There are plenty of season fantasy players who can use this to build their pre-tournament team, auction or draft teams, and they could also, and daily fantasy players could use this throughout the season as a reference point. This could slightly change as the season progresses, but it's mostly this because it's based on last 3 to 5 years of data. It's not going to change based on two or three matches throughout the season. So this is a reference that you could use for all Sydney Sixers matches. For example, if you have to pick 7 Sydney Sixers players, it's most likely to be Josh Philippe, Sean Abbott, Hayden Kemp, Ben Dwarshuis, Curtis Patterson, Moises Henriquez, and James Spence. And it's because the value we have presented as value 1, value 2, and value 3. For example, if you see Abbott, he is a first choice new ball bowler. So when he is bowling on decks that support new ball bowling, he should be one of your most important picks. He's also the thing we have also added is that he's a second choice dead bowler, with the first being Chris Jordan, as long as Chris Jordan is available. And there is
Right.
also the other value of him batting in the top eight. So these are the factors we have considered. And James Smith is lower in the order because this also serves season fantasy. And in daily fantasy, as long as James Smith is available, he'll be in the top three too.
Right. But he's leaving for the Emirates T20, which
Hmm.
starts around the 10th or the
Yeah,
11th of January.
yeah. If you notice, that's one of the major red flags we have marked
Yeah.
availability.
And now this sheet makes a lot of sense. This is going to be my favorite sheet as well. So now I know how to read the sheet. Thank you so much, Al. I'm going to take us to the team rating sheet. So complimentary openers, they have one of the highest, but once the wins leaves, they're going to have a drop in that number.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah,
but
true.
overall, 5.6 ratings. Is there any other team that has a higher rating? Because I just subscribed to these packs,
Hmm.
and immediately my eyes went up to Perth and Sydney because they are the last year's finalists. So I've
Yeah.
not looked at the other teams. So is
Hmm.
there any other team that has a higher
And
rating than?
Sydney Thunder are rated higher. They're at 5.8, and Hobart Hurricanes are rated the highest. They're at 6.1, and the only team that has crossed the six mark in the rating.
Wow. Maybe in our next show for the third one day international between India and Bangladesh,
Hmm.
we will go to the Hobart screen to
Hmm.
see what special magic that they've got going this season.
Hmm.
And they are also the champions of the WBBL, right? If I'm wrong, not right. If I'm not wrong.
Uh,
What?
I didn't follow the tournament because we had World Cup clashing with it.
Yeah,
But if I recall right, yes, I remember seeing a few tweets about it. Could be
yeah.
Hobart
It
Hurricane.
could be a back-to-back win for Hobart this year with IBBL.
Hmm.
So that's great. So so going out the last screen, the matchups.
Hmm.
Just talk about, is there any weakness does Josh Felipe has
Hmm.
uh, in explaining the sheet to us. Looks like he has something red going on with the left
Yeah,
arm
yeah,
pace.
yeah.
So is there any team in the BBL that has good left arm pace bowlers? Is Bolt playing for any one of them?
Bolt is playing for Melbourne Stars, and they also have Luke Wood, and it's a team that's going to trouble Josh Philippe because of Bolt bowling at least a couple of overs in the first six. So this thing is the matchup sheet is basically, I would call it as an advanced matchup because I do not use batter versus bowler stats. That's a lot of what you see. For example, a batter has bowled 20 balls against a bowler has bowled 20 balls against a batter, and they're using such a small sample space to arrive at such big conclusions. It could mean nothing to me. For example, a batter facing 40 balls against the bowler and having been dismissed 5 times, it doesn't give me any conclusions. I want a bigger sample space. So what I do is a batter against the bowling type. It's not going to be any one particular left arm pacer. It's going to be all left arm paces and in specific periods. For example, over 1 to 4 is where the new ball is going to be moving. So if you add overs 5 and 6 with that, it's going to dilute the sample space. So we have used advanced filters, and we have used clever filters to arrive this. And there's filters are also, if you notice, it will be interesting. It's not right arm pace overs 1 to 6. That's what people usually give you, power play. But that's not useful to me. I want to know how a opening batter fares against new ball movement. So the last over that you'd usually see new ball moving is the over number 4. So we have changed that thing entirely. And spin also, it's overs number 1 to 16. I do not want to know what a batter does against in the 17th or 18th over against spin. That's not normal. That's not what is going to help me. For example, this also has pace depth as in 17 to 20. And with bowlers also, last time the packs didn't have it. This time we have introduced a new addition. It's how you bowl against right-handers and left-handers in over to 4. That's one thing. And how you bowl against right-handers and left-handers in overs 5 to 16. This new filters helps us understand how spinners bowl against these bowling types, and also pacers bowl against these bowling types in different intervals.
Wow, that's a lot of information, and this is available for the entire squad across all the teams. You just have to subscribe
Yeah,
to covers off on preseason.
basically, when it's
Yeah,
marked red, the batter usually struggles against the bowling type. Yellow is average, and green is good against the bowling or batting type.
yeah. So this has just been an amazing conversation. Al, thank you so much.
No
In
problem.
addition to the team packs, you also released recently a bonus pack. Would you be
Mm-hmm.
able to take a couple of minutes to explain to us?
Yeah, this is basically the last three years of data. It's there. It's since 2019, and it compares batters against the league's entire league. For example, in team, it only compares batters against their teammates, their current and past teammates. This one compares it against the entire league. This is something that you could use yeah, to come to understand how a batter stands in the entire league. For example, green here is usually indicates wherever in all our packs, green usually indicates the player is good. So if you could look at it, the runs scored per innings is 32.58 for Ben McDermott. That's one of the highest in the league. And 37, for example, Jason Sangha had an outstanding year last year, and he leads the pack. Red is bad and yellow is okay. It's average. We have also added a couple of new sections to it. This is going to help punters, because sixes per innings is going to help them decide which team is going to hit a lot of sixes. For example, if you have a team that has a lot of players who hit 1.3 plus sixes per match, that's the match that you should be going overs on sixes. You should also combine this with the venue data we'll be sending out tomorrow.
Brilliant. And I know some of things players that who may not play. Liam Livingston, the injury is picked
Mm.
up. How serious it is that would prevent him from playing BBL? Is there any news you have on that?
Liam Livingstone is ruled out of the BBL. He's not going to play a single match for them. And Melbourne Renegades have already announced replacement for him. It's going to be Martin Guptill.
Martin Guttel. So that's an interesting conversation of free agents.
Mhm.
You have
Yeah.
Bolt, Guttel. Are they going to play the entire BBL season, or are they going to also be traveling for the Emirates or the South Africa during the mid-season?
Guptill will be joining Melbourne Renegades after the fourth game, because Russell will be standing in for that period. After that, Guptill will be coming in. Bolt, obviously, is leaving after the first 10 games for International League T20.
International Eternity. So I don't know when Josh Felipe goes against the team Bolt
Mhm.
plays for, but if
Yeah.
it's after Bolt leaves, then that he still improves his chances. So
Mm.
these are the inputs, insights that Al takes into account. I'm just letting our viewers know on
Mm.
why the data-based recommendations for both fantasy and betting calls is
Mm.
more than 80% accurate.
Mm.
So this is the bowling sheet. Looks
Mm.
like Harris Rauf has picked up an injury now, and he may not also
Mm.
play the BBL.
Mm. Using picked in the squads, and the advantage we have is we are not just giving them numbers. These all of these sheets have creators notes below them. So if you're struggling to understand what these numbers mean, I've basically explained everything to you below that, so you could read it from those details that we have below. It's a lot more detailed in the team packs. The bonus pack is a bit shorter.
Yeah. So compared to the previous BBLs, this BBLs is going to be bit different with the amount of domestic T20 that has picked up in other nations. As we speak, Lanka Premier League is going on. You have a Bangladesh Premier League starting in January. You have an Emirates T20 starting in January. You have South Africa T20 starting in January. So this has not happened. I mean, again, coming back to the topic of free agents, back in 2015 after the World Cup, I think ABD was one of the first few players, to become a free agent. And now look at the impact these 2020 tournaments are having,
Yeah.
on established players like Guptill and Bolt. So the impact is even widespread. But the good thing is that it has also increased the bench strength of all the playing countries. As much as India could play two squads, one for one day international, another for 2020. So it's interesting that how this entire ecosystem is evolving. And in a way, the way people are talking about, 2020 will kill test cricket and all that. But looking at the way how the England Pakistan test match, nobody thought that anybody will get a result in Rawalpindi. So
Yeah.
to see Stokes and Brendan Beckham, their strategy of scoring, they almost score over 500 runs on day one. So they're really, the skills the batsmen pick up playing 2020 cricket on a flat track. So, a home team cannot afford to create a flat track and hoping that that will become a draw anymore. Right. So those days are done. So I think that's an exciting development for Test cricket. So now wrapping up our show, we just want to briefly talk about how is all this information is going to help a common man like me who um, uh, loves cricket and loves the data, uh, and would love to do something about it. Given the stock market are down, I mean, it looks like with this amount of information, I can solidly have a fantasy cricket and cricket betting as a part of my portfolio in my wealth management. Because
Yeah.
I know the sport, I'm passionate about the sport, and if this is a real place where one could use the information, make the money. So how can I strategically make it a part of my portfolio starting this year, so that going forward, given when markets are having its challenges, something like this would kind of bring in steady income. So let's say that we start with 100,000, 1 lakh Indian rupees for the BBL with an intention or an objective to go into, let's say, 10 lakh Indian rupees by BBL next year, given the amount of cricket that's between these two BBLs. So, the one thing they say is that if you want to learn something, they say that you get closer and closer to the guru. In our case, I need to get farther and farther away from you, because
Yeah.
I need to be in a land which where betting is legal. So there are only betting, sports betting is legal only in few states in the US, and unfortunately, California it's not. Uh, and But 200 miles east of California, there is a city called Yuma in the state of
Okay.
Arizona, uh, and in the state of Arizona, betting is legal. So what I've done is that I've with the BBL starting, with subscription to the covers of packs on preseason, and with your help, I'm trying to see how you could coach me or mentor me on certain selected platforms, fantasy apps and sport betting apps, which you could, so that now and our next discussion, for example, for me to pick up Josh Philippe, use that information and say, my 1 lakh, should he be a 2% in my portfolio or a 3% in my portfolio, right? And make that investment. You said the betting call open in Bet 364, for example. So how should I, what are the few steps I should take between now and our next meeting? which are the apps that you're thinking that we will play on, and what is the strategy behind it, how are you going to help me build this wealth, and so that, like they say, teach somebody to fish, so if you could help me to fish, so
mm,
that, with the love I have for the sport, and the kind of data that sports data that I would love to
mm,
see, this
mm,
is something that I can do it for a lifetime, right? This is my
yeah.
retirement plan,
Mm.
so to speak. So over to you. So let me know that how should we go about this.
You're right, Count, when you say you should help someone to get fish. I mean, instead of giving them that directly, we should show them how to do it. So that's part of what we are going to do. And the first step is to decide on a bankroll. What's our investment, initial investment? For example, you have said that we could start at 1L. So we could start at 1 lakh, and then that's the first step. Decide your bankroll. What's your bankroll, and stick to it, and take care of it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is decide how you are going to invest. You cannot invest the same amount of money in all of your fantasy competitions and all of your sports bets. That's going to wreck you very soon. So what we'll have to do is we are going to strategically invest. So these are some things that we are going to offer on covers of as well. We are not just going to give them calls and tips. We are also going to tell them how to split their investment and how to scale up quick. So that's one thing that we. So first is a bankroll, then decide on an investment strategy. Then the third is decide on the best platforms to maximize it. We have a few platforms in mind now. For example, in the country you are living in, it's fortunate that sports betting is legal. So we bet 365 is one of the platforms we are looking at, and bet MGM is another platform that we are looking at. And in terms of fantasy auctions, for example, we are also going to play a lot of season fantasy auctions and drafts, high stakes ones that have an entry of 5 to at least 10K. So that's something we are looking at. So the platforms that we are currently looking at are Crick Battle and Fanex, which offer this type of fantasy, and which offer you highest yield in terms of your cricketing merit. These are not these are platforms that can consistently return you steady profits. So these are the off the top of my head. Bet 365, Bet MGM, Crick Battle, and Fanex are the four platforms that we're looking at. So this is the first three steps, and in the next video, we'll be placing our first couple of bets as well. That's the plan that's going in. So when we get on the show again, we'll be placing our first couple of bets. The markets are out already, and they're looking really good.
Brilliant. So I heard Bet365, so I'll create an
Mm,
account with Bet365. I
mm,
already have created an account with FanX. That's
mm,
great. So with Crick Battle, I will
mm,
create an account between now and our next show,
mm,
and then we will do the season fantasy on Crick Battle.
mm,
We will pick certain, certain betting calls with
mm.
the team and the venue guides that we already have,
Yeah.
and then with BBL starting on the 13th,
Mm.
we will be doing the match betting as well, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we are in-play betting and pre-match betting. That's one. We're going to be sending out tips for all of those BBL matches. For example, there are 64 BBL matches, I guess. You're going to receive something for all of those matches. We are obviously not going to take a shot at every one of these games, but we'll have the analysis and the pre-match data ready. And when we find the right opportunity, we'll get in. For example, Arnold Rothstein in the famous show Boardwalk Empire, and the character says that when you do not have a play, do not engage. Like, wait for your right moment and go all in when you find the right moment. Our strategy is going to be very similar, but with a slight difference. When we find an opportunity, we will not be going all in, because going all in, the guy has influence in he fixes matches, so that's something we cannot do. What we'll be doing is going with a percentage of our bankroll, and doing it in a steady manner.
This sounds exciting. So I will get everything set up at my side,
Mm,
so that we have the 1 lakh bankroll to invest,
mm, mm,
starting our next show,
mm,
which is
mm,
right before the third one-day match between India and Bangladesh.
mm,
I think that's going to be this Sunday, or is it
mm.
sooner?
I'll have to check. I think
Yeah,
it's.
I think it should be on a. We will announce so Al will announce that date on his Twitter channel.
Mm,
So it's going to be during our next game. So Al has also launched his master class on YouTube. So the whole
mm,
idea is that with the opportunity of Al's knowledge and his ability to communicate, so information is available. So if you have to do it yourself, unlike me, you're not a beginner, and if if you're an expert, you could subscribe to the creators pack when it's launched, during the end of the month on coversof.ai. But till then, if you want to make informed decision for BBL, you could download the pre-seasoned app, and subscribe to covers off. It just costs
Yeah.
199 rupees a month.
Mm.
So
And don't forget, our first 1,000 yearly subscribers are going to be automatically converted into lifetime subscribers. So grab the chance.
yeah, and you were also talking about, probably you would want to do uh, covers off, a punter cap as well for your first 1,000
Yeah,
subscribers.
yeah.
So
We are
that's going to
working
be,
on getting t-shirts and caps ready for our thousands of first 1,000 yearly subscribers.
so it's like the graduation hat, right? So
Mm.
whoever comes under your tutelage, they should keep getting the exclusive merchandise like badges. So this is all very
Yeah.
exciting, Al. So thank you so much for being available on show today. As always, being really grateful.
Mm.
My cricket knowledge and the way I watch the
Mm.
game, it's been a paradigm shift.
Mm.
Ever since I met you and we started having these conversations. To
Mm.
be honest, I was just waiting for this conversation to start again. So after the semi-final, it's almost
Mm.
a month,
Mm.
and you are busy with your team preparing these packs.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
we're very glad that you're back again, available for these shows with all the information that you've created. Really looking forward to our next conversation when we want to make the bets. So
Yeah.
thank you
Same
so
here.
much,
Yeah.
and you have a good day ahead.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, Al. Take care then.
Mm.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.